Okay, and we are live. Hello, hello, hello. How's everyone doing? Welcome back. Welcome to the stream. Welcome back to Train Sim Saturday. First one in a couple of weeks. Just make sure everything's working. Everything's where it should be. Okay, and we are good to go. So, hello everyone, welcome back to Train Sim Saturday. I'm looking forward to this one. We got a special Train Sim Saturday stream in store for you today. It's going to be a bit shorter than the usual Train Sim Saturday streams. Probably going to be finishing about 5 o'clock today, but we are going to be taking a little bit of a look at my own upcoming Durham Coast Line project. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute when we dive into it, but that's what we're going to be doing today. We got a scenario lined up which is going to take us from Sunderland down to Nunthorpe. It's about 75 minutes, but you know, I'm going to be stopping at each station and talking a little bit about the changes and stuff like that as we go, so it's probably be about an hour and a half by the time we're done. But that's the plan for today. We're just going to drive the route. I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's come in, what I've been working on, and what's still to come in future versions of the route. And yeah, that's the plan. So let's hit drive. Let's go and do it. Let's go and get started. Sorry for nudging the mic, by the way. It's always, whenever I play Train Sim, I've always got to sit in a slightly uncomfortable position because obviously Train Simulator's on my main monitor, but I have to play it with keyboard and mouse, which is at my second monitor, so I've always got to sit at this kind of weird angle whenever I play Train Simulator. How you doing, STFC? I'm doing good, thank you very much. How are you doing today? Let me know if you can hear the game alright, by the way. You should be hearing the in-game music right now. Let me know if you can hear that. And here it is, Ashendak, Durham Coast Line. Ignore that. Ignore Leeds Lines Phase 3. That's not actually a thing that I'm working on at the minute. Durham Coast Line, this is mine. As you can see, it says Ashendak in brackets there. So this is my route upgrade for the North East England route by DP Simulation. And the scenario I've got lined up is Hexham to Nunthorpe. Like I say, I'm going to talk more about the route itself as we drive it, but basically, let me just clarify before we begin. The route itself is not mine. Sorry about the camera lag. The route itself is not mine. The route is from a developer called DP Simulation. He, as far as I know, is no longer working on Train Sim content. This route was last updated in 2019, and from what I hear, he's like taken a step away from Train Sim modding. So really, the door was open for someone to step in and bring this route up to date. Because again, this route was last updated in 2019. Since then, a lot of stuff has happened to the Durham Coast Line. There's a new station at Hordon. There's new footbridge at Billingham. There's, Hartlepool and Middlesbrough have had some redevelopment work done. So, like I say, it was really waiting for someone to step in and, bring the route up to date and add in some of the new stuff that's been added to the real life route since 2019. So that's what this is. That's what this project is. Again, most of the stuff in the route is not mine. It's stuff that was already in there that's in the currently available version of the route. But as we go, I will talk about the stuff that I've added in, and I'll talk more about what I'm planning to add in future as well. So we're starting at Sunderland. No changes at Sunderland, absolutely nothing. There were supposed to be some signs. I have made some Sunderland signs, but I haven't put these in yet. So the station is very bare at the minute. This is just what it looks like in the current route. I'm going to get things started up. Is there a Newcastle? There isn't currently, Bobby. I'll tell you more about that in a bit, but if we just look on the map, the current route, there actually aren't any complete lines on this route. The Durham Coast Line only goes as far north as Sunderland. The Esk Valley Line only goes as far south as Nunthorpe, and the Tees Valley Line only goes as far east as Southbank. So eventually, when I've finished upgrading the route that's already in the game, it would be nice to try and extend northwards to Newcastle, southwards to Battersby, and eastwards to Saltburn. But I don't want to speculate on any extensions of the route just yet, because I really want to concentrate on upgrading the stuff that's already there before I start like making it longer and adding in more rails, you know, extending the line. What game is it? The game is Train Sim Classic, Bobby. Okay, off we go. I should probably set the... Oh, the destination display is already set. We'll set up the lights. I'm not going to bother with GSMR or anything like that. It's not really about the train today. It's not really about the drive. It's more about looking at the route. But if you listen closely, hopefully, if this works properly and it doesn't glitch out, you may hear something... You may hear a familiar voice in a moment. This is the northern service to Nunthorpe. The next station is Seaham. That's me! That's my voice! Yeah, there's going to be announcements. This is something that I'm quite happy with. Ignore the fact that I'm speeding as well. This is something that I'm quite happy with. I wanted... There's a lot of DLC for Train Sim that adds in announcements, but it's always done through a plugin. Like if you have the 185 from Alan Thompson Sim, you need a separate plugin to actually do the announcements, and whenever you launch the game, you have to launch this plugin as well. I wanted to see if there was a way to add announcements in-game so that you don't need a third-party plugin or anything like that, and actually it turns out to not be that difficult to make a primitive announcement system. All you do is make sound effects, record the sound effects, put them into the game as objects, and then when the train gets within range of that object, the sound effect plays. So I recorded 25 lines. 13 of those are like the next state. This is the train for XYZ. 12 of them are for the next station is, and then there's a special announcement for the train terminating as well. They're a bit temperamental. They don't always trigger. I was a bit worried just then that it wasn't actually going to trigger the announcements to play, but it did on this occasion. You might notice as we continue the drive, sometimes the announcements won't play properly. But yeah, it's just a really simple, easy way to get announcements into the game. And because everything else I've done entirely by myself, I wanted to do those myself as well. So that is my voice. If you download this route when it comes out quite soon, you will hear my voice doing the announcements on the train. Nice setup, thanks Jack F. What wheel do you have, says Bobby? The wheel, Bobby, is the Logitech G heavy equipment wheel. I've also got the side... You can't really see the side panel right now because it's just in the corner of the shot. Ignore that grass sticking through the ground. I don't know what causes that. Logitech steering wheel, Logitech side panel. The gear shifter, which is behind the Patreon board at the minute, is the Thrustmaster THAS. And I've also got a handbrake, which is unbranded. Where are you from? What's the accent? Says Dan. I'm from Doncaster, Dan. Originally from Harrogate. But I've lived in Doncaster most of my life. And I've actually very rarely visited this line in real life. I've been to Sunderland, I think, twice. I've been to Middlesbrough a couple of times. My mum's from Middlesbrough. But yeah, obviously, I've never been to Hordon. And when we get to Hordon, you'll understand how impressive that is, because I've never visited this station in real life, and I've modelled it entirely from scratch in Blender. I'm very proud of that. But yeah, I've never really been to most of the stations on this line, which might make it a bit of a... you might think, well, why would you choose to make a mod for a line that you've never actually visited in real life? But again, I just thought It needed doing. Someone had to do it. This route hasn't been updated for 6 years. Someone had to do it, and I decided I was going to do it. Ever been to Durham or Newcastle? I have, RJ, yes. I've been to Durham a few times. I've been to Newcastle a bit more. But yeah, I've been to Durham, been to Newcastle. Like I say, I've been to Sunderland once or twice. But I've never really... Like I say, most of the places on this route I've not visited. I've not been to Hartlepool. I've not been to Hordon. I need to get this game again, says Preston North End. You should, Preston North End. And when you get the game, don't forget, in a couple of weeks' time, you will be able to play this route, which I have made, which I have put together. Once again, not the whole route. It's an upgrade for a route that's already in the game. But yeah, keep your eye out. It's going to be releasing in a couple of weeks' time. I'm just working on some finishing touches. The first version will be coming out quite soon. Whereabouts in Middlesbrough is your man from, says Dan. I don't actually know specifically where, Dan. I mean, she was born in Middlesbrough, but, you know, she hasn't really lived there since I was born, which was 26 years ago. I just know she's from Middlesbrough. It says on my birth certificate that she's from Middlesbrough. I've never really asked her about it, you know, whereabouts specifically are you from, Mum? I think she's from the Redcar side. Hello, Chino on YouTube. How are you doing? Best thing you'll do is leave this town. Don't blame her. Oh, I mean, you might not be wrong, Dan. I can't possibly say because, like I say, I've only really been there a couple of times. Isn't Redcar in Newcastle? No, Redcar is in. I think Redcar is technically separate from Middlesbrough, but it's like right next door to it. I think Middlesbrough is part of an area called Redcar and Cleveland. But Redcar is like quite far south of Newcastle, really. What's the next stop? The next stop is Seaham, and we are just about to arrive. And there's quite a few changes at Seaham, which I'm looking forward to discussing. This is basically the first bit of the route that I've actually added stuff to. So I definitely want to talk about some of the changes that have been made here. Is this a 150 or 156? This is the 156 we're in at the minute. Shino? Oh, we've come in a bit slow there. Redcar and Cleveland is a separate entity on the border along the coast. Thank you, Den. I'm from County Durham, always classed it as Newcastle's borough. I mean, I guess Newcastle, you know, it's kind of part of the sort of urban area around Newcastle, right? What's your steering wheel name? Logitech G Heavy Equipment Wheel. Okay, this is Seaham, and this station I've put quite a lot of work into. Basically, all of the platform furniture that you see here is completely new. Ignore the slightly glitchy platform there. But these shelters, the ticket machines, the display boards, the signage, pretty much everything at this station is me. Is my work. Like I say, the station itself, the platforms themselves are part of the existing route, and these benches, they're part of the existing route as well. I thought these, you know, they're good enough. I didn't really see the need to remodel those. But everything else here is my work. Once again, the shelters are new, the posters are new. If you don't believe me, this poster even says Ashbridge Industries on it, as do a couple of the other posters around the place. This one here says, "Thank you for driving the Durham Coast Line, brought to you by Ashbridge Industries." And one other thing that I did at this line, at this station, was this entrance here. This entrance is completely missing on the current version of the route, which means, well, you can still get in and out of the station from down there, but there's at the real station there's an entrance like sort of halfway up the platform here. This wasn't in the original route, so I've added this in. which basically just meant taking out one of the fence panels and rotating it so that it looks like a gate. But yeah, that's about it. Again, all the signs and everything, that's all mine. That's mine. These are mine. The lamp posts aren't mine, but the speakers are. And to be honest, they're a bit basic. I might retexture those a little bit more before the route releases. But yeah, that's Siam. First station done. Let's keep it moving. Where will this be? Where will the mod be when it's done, says STFC. When the mod is ready for release, I will be publishing it on Alan Thompson Sim. So Alan Thompson Sim is where I publish all of my scenarios as well. It's kind of it's one of the biggest mod hosting sites for Train Simulator Classic. If you're a big Train Sim Classic player,
Horden.
Sorry. Just had to listen to my voice again for a second. The next station is Horden. But yeah, if you play a lot of Train Sim Classic, AlanThompsonSim.com is a very good place to look for reskins, scenarios, routes, stuff like that. So yeah, when this route does release, which is probably going to be before the end of this month, it'll be on Alan Thompson Sim. I'm going to put together a trailer as well, which will be on YouTube like next week, maybe. But yeah. So the next station's Horden. Now Horden is unique in this route because Horden didn't exist when this route was last updated in 2019, which means the entire station had to be modelled from scratch. Which I did. That was the first thing that I wanted to do. That was kind of what inspired the whole project, to be honest, is I was driving on this route a few months back, and I realised, hang on, there's no station here. Like, in real life, there's a station here now. And I thought, maybe someone should add the station in. And then I thought, maybe I should add the station in. And then I thought maybe I should update the whole route to, to bring it up to date with how it looks in real life today. So that really is what inspired the whole project. It all began with adding in Horden Station. And it's the most major change that you'll see in version 0.1 of the route. There's going to be future updates, obviously. There's a lot more that I have planned for the route. Version 0.1, the biggest change is Horden, which is a brand new station, as well as, updates to all the platform furniture at most of the other stations on the route. But in future updates, there's also going to be Platform 3 at Hartlepool is going to be reopened, which happened in 2024. Platform 2 at Middlesbrough is going to be extended, which happened in 2021. There's going to be a new footbridge at Billingham, which I believe was built in 2023. It might be, that might have been 2021. And there's going to be lots of other stuff as well. It's going to be an ongoing project. I just wanted to let people see what I've done so far, which is why I wanted to release this work in progress version that's going to be coming out very soon. Genuine question, what's the fun in this game? As I feel you don't have too much fun, says C. Downton. I mean, it just depends what you're into, C. Downton, if you're not into trains, then it's not going to be a fun experience, right? But if you're the kind of person who likes trains, then you're probably going to like the game, right? It's just one of those things. You can't really explain why you enjoy something. I just like trains, and I like driving trains in Train Simulator. Okay, let's check the map. So we are now we're about halfway between Siam and Horden. I'm autistic, love anything with an engine. I mean, probably same, Jamie. I've never been diagnosed with autism. I've never sought to get it formalized or anything like that. But I don't want to self-diagnose. I'm not gonna say that I'm autistic because I might not be. But I will say that when I was younger, my parents considered getting me checked out for potentially being autistic. They never did in the end, and I never ended up getting diagnosed or anything. So we'll just leave it at that. I'm not officially autistic, and I don't want to self-diagnose. Okay, I see Horden on the minimap, about 1.6 miles away. We've been doing a lot of speeding, by the way, so far today. Again, we're not really focused on the drive this time as much as we're focused on the route itself, so please forgive me for speeding and stuff like that on this occasion. What class? This is the 156, Darius. I think probably my favourite. My favourite in the Sprinter series. I quite like the 150 as well, but I've always liked the 156. And you'll see a lot of 156s on the real Durham Coast Line. It is also operated by 158s, but mostly 156s. As a Romanian, I absolutely love the 156, 152, and the old DMUs 101, 117. Nice one, Darius. I do like some of the older DMUs as well. The 101 and the 117, as you say. I love the bubble car, the 121, which technically isn't a DMU because it's a single car, but I mean, that opens up a whole debate, right? Because I would count the 153 as a DMU because it's part of the Sprinter series, but it's technically a single car, so it's not actually a multiple unit. But I'd still class it as a DMU. You know, I think I'd say the same for the 121, even though it's a rail car technically. It's still a DMU because it's like in the same family as other DMUs. Anyway. Do you play racing games like Assetto Corsa? I don't really, Elite James. I'm not really that big on racing games, to be honest. Here we also call them DMUs, even if it's one car. Fair enough, Darius. Okay, we're now at Horden, and we have to talk about Horden, because this right here, this is mine. This is entirely my own work. If you download Northeast England by DP Simulation and you come to this exact spot, this station is not here. This is me. This is all me, and I'm very, very proud of it. I'm very pleased with it. So let's have a quick look round. So not only did I model the station, I also modeled the car park as well. The textures on the car park are a little bit lower poly because it's a bit further away from the driver. With Train Simulator, because you're most of the time you're going to be spending the time in the cab with the camera just on the train track. You don't want to put too much detail into objects that are further away. So for the car park, I didn't really add in as much detail. But the station, I've tried to be as detailed as I possibly could with the station, right down to the decals, which I'm particularly proud of. We got the tactile paving running around all over the place. But again, the posters, we've got that's one of my own posters, just advertising the route. We got some timetable posters. We got some of the new See It, Say It Sorted posters that are just starting to be rolled out at the moment. I thought they'd make a nice addition to the route. I've been there, IRL, looks mint. Thank you, Jamie. Again, I've never actually been to this station in real life. I did all of this with Google Maps. This is all just from reference photos from Google Maps. So it's nice to know that I've done a good job, considering I've never actually been here, IRL. But yeah, this is Horden. So apart from the station itself, There's also the car park, and there's also this bike path. This is a very small thing, but I also added in this little bike path here, which got added in when the station itself got added. And again, everything, the ticket machines, the signage, the steps, all mine, all my own work, all modelled and textured by me. And this is the biggest addition to the route, so I'm very, very proud of this. I'm very, very happy with my work here. There's no litter, says Will. That's very true, Will. There aren't actually any bins at the station either. This is one single thing that I didn't add was the bins, because obviously bins in train stations are just plastic bags, and I didn't want to even attempt to just model a plastic bag in Blender. So there's no bins at the station. I didn't add in the litter bins, but everything else, the signs, the speakers, the information points, the CCTV cameras, they've even got cables. I even took the time to model the cables on the CCTV cameras. I poured my heart and soul into this, okay? So forgive me for not adding the bins. What station is this again? This is Horden, Mother Frog. It's a new station. Well, it's 5 years old. It opened in 2020, so it's not in the current version of Durham of the Northeast England route by DP Simulation. But once this route releases in a couple of weeks' time, you will be able to visit it, and you'll be able to see for yourself. Looks weirdly like the Kirkstall Forge station in Leeds. I can kind of see it. Mother Frog, I think it's because of the footbridge, to be honest. This is kind of a very standard footbridge design on new stations. The footbridge, by the way, was the most difficult part of this. It took me forever to model this footbridge as accurately as I could, with the steps and the ramps. Getting the angles just right on the ramps was really tedious. It ended up either being twice as long as the station or way too short. It was a lot of trial and error to get the angle just right on the access ramps there. And obviously every single one of these railings is an individual cylinder. So this took forever. That was the most difficult part of the station. Everything else was kind of easy, to be honest. I mean, you look at stuff like this poster frame. That's literally just a cube with a plane on it for the actual poster. And I mean, the benches were maybe a little bit trickier, but by far the footbridge was the trickiest thing. Even the curve. That took longer than expected to get the exact curve of the footbridge in there, because originally I just had it as a completely flat footbridge, which is unrealistic. Most railway footbridges have that curve in, so I took a bit of extra time to put that in there as well. But yeah, that's it. Is this meant to be Durham? This is Horden. This is Horden, Kai. It's on the Durham Coast Line between Sunderland and Hartlepool. How long does this take, says Will? I don't know how long it took in pure hours, because it's one of those things that I've just kind of been working on bit by bit whenever I've had time. It's taken me a few months of work to get the route to a releasable condition. I started it back in May. But again, it's not like I've been working on this every single day. It's just been, a couple of hours work here and there when I've had the time. So I don't know for definite. I couldn't say exactly how many hours I've spent on it. But it's paid off. It's paid off. Look at this as well. The signs are 3D. You can actually see inside the signs, which is quite good. And again, all the textures are by me as well. Some of them were an absolute pain in the arse. This one here, this fair warning sign, was a nightmare, because again, I've never been to the station in real life, and there isn't one of these signs at Doncaster. So I had to just find a photo of the sign, and this bottom bit, I was desperately... it took me so long to even figure out what that said. But yeah, this is my own work. This is not like a scan of the actual poster. I actually like wrote the whole thing myself and made the entire poster myself in Photoshop and tried to, you know, imitate the real thing as much as possible. Same goes with all of these other textures. These are all the texturing was done by me. All the modeling, at least at this station, was done by me. But yeah, let's move on. We've been here long enough. That was Horden. Thank you, everyone, for the compliments. We are going to move on now. We're going to move to the next station, which is Hartlepool. And I haven't actually done any work at Hartlepool yet. I'm gonna. There's eventually going to be... I'm going to add Platform 3 at Hartlepool, which reopened last year. Obviously, I'm going to have to add that in a future version of the route. But at the minute, I haven't done any work at Hartlepool. So it just looks exactly the same as it does in the DP simulation version of the route. But let's move on. Let's say bye-bye to Horden. And let's hear if the announcements work this time. Nope. That's unfortunate. Nothing. Sometimes they don't. Again, the announcements are very temperamental. I think that's probably why people don't do announcements this way. But they work some of the time. Hopefully they'll work as we continue. Did you make it in Blender, Saul? I did, Unmarked Veil, yeah. I use Blender. Blender is my modeling software of choice. When I was at university, we actually learned how to model in 3ds Max, which I absolutely despise. I hated 3ds Max. I couldn't get my head around it. Blender is so much simpler. It's so much easier to get to grips with. And it's completely free, which is always a plus. It's open source, so it's free of charge. Love Blender. Big Blender fan. Anyway, we're now on the way to Hartlepool. And if we just take a quick look at Hartlepool on the map, the only thing that I've actually changed is to add in the marker for the platform. The platform, you know, I haven't remodeled yet, but we've added in the Platform 3 marker ready for that remodeling happening. I think there's some new signs at Hartlepool as well. I've added new signs for all the stations on the route, or at least the Durham Coast and Esk Valley sections. The thing is, this is a really big route. If we just zoom out, this is the East Coast main line here from York to Darlington, and there's also the Tees Valley line all the way up to Bishop Auckland. I'm only focusing on the Durham Coast Line specifically, though, and a little bit of the Esk Valley line. In future, maybe I'll look at the other parts of the route, particularly Darlington. Darlington right now is being remodeled. They've added in new platforms and stuff like that. So maybe I'll remodel Darlington as well. But for the current version of the route, I'm just focusing on the Durham Coast Line and the Esk Valley line. I'd like to support your work, but I can't vibe with having to steer the train as well, says Banggoody. As you can see, Banggoody, I'm not actually touching the steering wheel, and in fact, the steering wheel does nothing in this game. It has absolutely no influence on Train Simulator. I use the steering wheel for Farming Sim and Euro Truck. For Train Simulator, it's keyboard and mouse. It's a very hilly route, this, as well. There's definitely a few places where the gradient is unrealistically steep, I think, and maybe I'll try and correct those a bit in the future. But it is a very hilly route in real life as well, which does make the drive a bit trickier. You do have to be careful not to speed too much. We're speeding right now because, again, we're not really focusing on the drive. We're talking more about the route itself today. But yeah, it's a good route if you like hills. Very hilly. I'm probably gonna add in support for Armstrong Powerhouse's sky and weather pack as well, because if we look up at the sky right now, the clouds are a bit weird. They have this like streaky texture, and no matter what weather is, no matter what the weather is, they always have this kind of streaky texture in the clouds. As far as I'm aware, the route doesn't have support for the sky and weather pack, so that might be something that I add in future as well, so that you can appreciate the route a bit more with the sky and weather pack. I do think the sky and weather pack adds a lot of realism to the game. If you play Train Sim, and you're looking for third-party DLCs and stuff like that, obviously Armstrong Powerhouse is one of the big names, and the Sky and Weather Pack is definitely worth looking into. Okay, I think we are starting to approach Hartlepool. Yep. Okay, speed limit's dropping to 45 here. There's quite a few tight curves as well on this route, especially between Sunderland and Seaham. There's a really tight 45-mile-per-hour curve, and if you go around that curve any faster than 45 miles an hour, you will tip over. So it's not. I do think this route actually does have some challenging bits of driving in it, which is, I appreciate. Okay, around the corner, speed up again. And off to our left in just a minute is the junction to Hartlepool ports, which aren't in the route. That's another thing that I would very much like to add in future versions, is some of the industrial areas along the route. Because if we take a look at the route right now, you'll see that all of these sidings to industrial areas, they just kind of end in dead ends. Like down here, Hartlepool Nuclear Power Station is supposed to be here, but it just isn't there. Down here, there's supposed to be a branch line to Port Clarence, which doesn't currently exist. And then up at Sunderland, there's also a branch to Sunderland Port, which doesn't actually go anywhere. So it would be nice to add those in a future version as well, add in some of those industrial areas. Because there isn't too much potential for freight scenarios on this route, apart from, through freight, from all the way through from Sunderland to York. There isn't much opportunity for, deliver nuclear fuel to Hartlepool Power Station, or deliver these containers to Sunderland Dock, So definitely I'd like to add in those industrial areas in a future version as well. Okay, we're coming up to Hartlepool. And we are coming in to the currently closed Platform 3. Which you can't see because it's on an inside corner, so you can't actually see the platform at all from this angle. Okay, this is Hartlepool. Of course, it won't actually let me open the doors because there are no passengers to be picked up at the minute. In the current version of the route, as you can see, Platform 3 is closed, as it was in 2019. In a future update, I will be adding in Platform 3. I'll be reopening Platform 3 as it was in 2024. I've added in some new signs. These Hartlepool signs here are new. But again, the rest of the station will be getting an upgrade in the full release of the route. But it won't be in version 0.1. Version 0.1 is just Horden and a few other smaller changes. Okay, let's move straight on, because there's not really much else to see here. Yeah, like I say, in the full version of the route, you will be able to call it Platform 3 at Hartlepool. There's also going to be new footbridges at Stockton and Billingham. There's going to be
an extended... This is the northern service to Nunthorpe. The next station is Seaton Carew.
Thank you, Saul. My voice again, doing the announcements. Yeah, as I was saying, so the full version of the route is going to include remodels of Hartlepool, Middlesbrough, Billingham, and Stockton. The current version of the route just includes remodels of Seaham, Seaton Carew, new station at Horden, and some new furniture at the other stations. Sorry I'm not modding, busy moving. No worries, Charlie, no worries. I'm doing alright today, thanks. I'll message Discord later. Nice one, Charlie. Does it go to Newcastle? Not currently, Newcastle 100. The current route only goes as far north as Sunderland. Again, I would like to do extensions in future, but at the minute I want to focus on redeveloping the stuff that's already in the route before I think about extending it. There are definitely at least 3 extensions that I want to do. I want to extend it north to Newcastle from Sunderland. I want to extend south from Nunthorpe to Battersby. And I want to extend east from South Bank to Saltburn. And there may be other extensions in future as well. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself with the scope. I don't want to say, you know, oh, I'm going to add in the entire East Coast Main Line or something, you know. It's... I don't want to speculate too much on future updates just yet. Can you buy it? Says Newcastle 100. You will be able to download it for free before the end of the month. If you want to drive the current version of the route without the improvements that I've made, you can download it at DP Simulation. That's the original developer. But my version of the route with the upgrades is going to be releasing later this month. So what's the point of this game exactly? To drive trains. That's what you do. What else would you do in a game called Train Simulator? You drive trains. That's it. Are you from Durham? I'm not. I'm from Doncaster, Newcastle 100. Okay, we are now arriving at Seaton Carew, and this is one that I've put quite a lot of work into as well. I definitely want to show you some of the improvements that have been made at Seaton Carew, because I put a lot of work into this station. This is another one that is very bare bones in the current version of the route. And if we just head out right now... So, this station has been almost completely remodeled. In the current version of the route, this station actually has no passenger access at all. There's actually no way for passengers to get into the station. So obviously I've fixed that. I've added in some entrances on either platform. And there's also a bike entrance, which is interesting. This station is... like a stopping point on a national cycle route, I believe. So there is actually a special bicycle entrance to the station, which I've added there. And again, most of the new stuff here is stuff that I've modelled myself in Blender. The shelters here are original. These are here in the original route. And these blocks that I've used to make the ramps, these aren't mine. These are from the existing route as well. But pretty much everything else here is mine. Obviously, the railings are mine, the display boards, the signage, the posters, you know, the information points, stuff like that. The bike shelter, which I'm particularly proud of. It was a bit of trial and error to get the shape of this just right, but the bike shelter's mine. Obviously, the station signs are mine, and these stop car markers are mine as well, which aren't at the station in the existing route. And that's Seaton Carew. Again, lot of work put into this one. If I just look from above, again, if you go to this station in the current version of the route, it looks very different. None of these entrance ramps are here or anything like that. The platform furniture is very, very basic. I've put a lot of work into this one to try and bring it up to date, and I think it looks pretty good. This is one of the most drastic changes from the existing route. And once again, where's the... I could have sworn there was a Durham Coast Line poster somewhere. Guess not. There's this one. And again, just in case you thought I was lying and I didn't actually model this, I did. This is mine. I made this. Anyway, back to the train, back to the drive. That is Seaton Carew. Next station is going to be Billingham in just a moment. Hello, Maffy Jan. How are you doing? Okay, there goes the alarm. Let's go. And will the announcements work this time? They worked at Hartlepool. So, let's listen out.
This is the Northern service to Nunthorpe. The next station is Billingham.
Perfect. I think I made quite a good announcer. I could do the actual announcements for Northern Rail. I'd be good at that. I'm doing fine. Nice to hear it, Maffy Jen. Nice to hear it. Okay, this next part of the route is a little bit boring. There is a very long straight section down to Billingham, which is kind of nothing. But while we're on this section, I'll talk more about the extensions to the industrial areas. So this is probably going to be coming in sort of version 2 of the route. There are at least 4 industrial areas that I want to extend. Obviously here we've got Hartlepool Nuclear Power Station, and on the north side of the town there's also Hartlepool Port. Way up at the north we have Sunderland Dock, which I would also like to add, and then down here is Port Clarence, which is... It has quite an extensive like maze of old rail lines, but they're not really in use anymore. There's only really one facility down there that's still in use, but I'd like to add it in anyway. And then when it comes to future extensions, there is a freight-only line that runs from here to Durham. I don't want to speculate, I don't want to confirm whether I'm going to be doing something like that, because if I did, I would have to also extend the East Coast Main Line up to Durham. And if I'm going to extend the East Coast Main Line up to Durham, I might as well extend it all the way up to Newcastle, right? So again, it just ends up being this situation where I end up making a load of extra work for myself. It would be nice to eventually complete the circle, so you could drive from Newcastle to Sunderland to Middlesbrough to Darlington and then back up to Newcastle. But I don't want to even think about a project as massive as that at the moment. How are you? I'm good, Murphy Jan. I've been putting in the work on this route upgrade project, but it's getting ready to release. It should be coming in the next couple of weeks, and I'm very, very happy with it. That's an abandoned station, by the way. I forget the name of it. I wonder if the platforms are still there, actually. They might have been removed since 2019. Okay, I see a speed limit sign. I think that is indicating that we're getting close to the station. Let me have a quick drink. Okay, I see Billingham. This is another station which I think is going to have to be completely remodeled. Definitely it's going to be getting a new footbridge. In real life, Billingham had its footbridge rebuilt in 2021 to add disability access. They added in a lift, which the station didn't have before then. It just had steps. So I will definitely be adding the new footbridge, and I think because it's such a small station, I might just go ahead and remodel the entire station while I'm at it. It's only got one island platform, so might as well. But the footbridge, definitely. Minecraft train's coming along very well, says Marika. Isn't it just, Marika? Okay, so this is Billingham. Not many changes at Billingham. I didn't want to add in too much at Billingham right now because obviously the station as a whole is going to end up getting remodeled in the full release of the route. But the station name and platform signs, they're mine. They're all new. They're kind of less impressive than some of my other work because they're incredibly basic signs. But yeah, the platform number signs and the station name signs, those are mine. Everything else is currently standard. The footbridge, as you can see, this footbridge was replaced in 2021 with a brand new footbridge that also has lifts. So in the full version of the route, I will be remodeling the footbridge. I'll probably replace this shelter as well and add in a couple of benches and stuff like that. There's not really much to do at this station apart from the new footbridge. But I'm definitely going to be replacing the footbridge. This one here, it even clips into the floor. I think they did that just so that it could actually touch the floor on the other side. But obviously, with the platform being raised up slightly, it means that it clips through the floor there. Not that it matters because it will be getting a new footbridge. I will be modeling. That's I think the next thing I'm going to be doing is the new footbridges for Stockton and Billingham. But yeah, that's how Billingham is at the minute. No real changes there yet. Thanks for the donuts, Marika.
The next station is Stockton.
Thank you, Zorn. So, interestingly, didn't say this is the train for Nunthorpe that time. It did say the next station, but it didn't play the other announcement. Odd. Like I say, the announcements are a bit temperamental. Sometimes they play, sometimes they don't. It's just kind of, you know, it is what it is. If it comes down to that or having an entirely separate plugin for the announcements, I'll take it, you know. How much does this game cost, says Lufthansa? The game itself, I think, is £25, might be 20. To play this route, you will need a couple of DLCs. You need the East Coast Main Line, York to Peterborough section, I think. Or it might... No, it'll be the Newcastle to York section you'll need. You also need the Weardale and Teesdale network, and a couple of other bits and pieces as well. If you want to play this route, if you head to dpsimulation.com, or it might be .co.uk, head to DP Simulation's website. It'll tell you what DLC you need to play this route. My version of the route will have the same DLC requirements, but there won't be anything new. Because everything that I'm adding is my own work, right? Something feels different as your room changed about, says Daniel. No, Daniel. No change to my setup. The camera angle's a bit different. Because obviously with Train Simulator, I have to have my camera at a bit of a weird angle. Because I have to play the game at a weird angle. But the setup itself hasn't changed. Does it need high-end spec, says Lufthansa? Not really. Not really. I think Train Sim Classic is reasonably well optimized. I ran it fine on my old computer, which only had a 3GB graphics card. I think you would be better having a dedicated graphics card. Like it wouldn't do too well on a laptop, for example. But on a standalone, on a proper PC with a standalone graphics card, even if it's only like 2 or 3 gigs, it's not too bad. Now, unfortunately, there's not much to report for the next few stations. Stockton, Thornaby, and Middlesbrough, the only changes I've made are new signs, and that's basically it at the minute. But then when we get onto the Esk Valley section, there are a few changes that I've made down there. The Esk Valley section... Originally, I wasn't planning on doing anything with the Esk Valley. I was just going to do the Durham Coast Line section, which is why the project is called Durham Coast Line. But the Esk Valley section, it's only 4 small single-platform stations, and I thought I might as well do a little bit. I might as well add a few improvements to those stations too, and eventually I might extend south to Battersby as well, because... I think it's a shame that the current route ends at Nunthorpe. Obviously, a lot of trains do terminate at Nunthorpe. This train we're driving right now terminates at Nunthorpe, but there are through trains to Whitby as well. So it would be nice to extend it at least as far as Battersby. Class 156, says Beans. Yes, we are indeed in the Class 156 right now. 156443 specifically, and we are heading to... Nunthorpe. Next station is Stockton. Let's have a look at the map, actually. There we go, so... Okay, we've made pretty good progress. Hello, District Chicago, how are you doing? Been considering buying it at some point, says Beans. The game or the train? Either way, both are recommended. I mean, anything from Armstrong Powerhouse is worth buying, Yeah, this is the 156. This is the Armstrong Powerhouse 156 pack. Like I say, I mean, I own every product currently available from Armstrong Powerhouse, because everything they make is just such high quality. They're a bit pricey, but they're so detailed. I can't imagine playing Train Sim without Armstrong Powerhouse products. You know, they're so good. I have the 91 and I enjoy it. AP do a fab job on their stuff. They really do. They really do. Where you purchase the trains. So for the Armstrong Powerhouse products, they have their own website called armstrongpowerhouse.co.uk. Some of their stuff does have requirements on Steam as well. Like, for example, the enhancement packs. If you want to get the 158 enhancement pack, you have to own the Steam version of the product as well. But they do some standalone products, like this one here, the 156. You just go straight to Armstrong Powerhouse. You don't need any requirements for this. You can just buy it and drive it straight away. We're going to overshoot Stockton here because I was talking and I've accidentally missed the platform.
This is the northern service to Nunthorpe.
Yes, it is, Storm. Okay, we can't even open the doors because we've overshot the platform. But anyway, this is Stockton. I also love the ATS 158. Me too, Beans. ATS have some really great products as well. I've got the 185 and the Flirt as well. Haven't really driven the Flirt too much because I don't really drive the Great Eastern Main Line that often, but it is a great product. So, Stockton. The only things that have changed here are the signs, the platform number signs, and the station name signs. This logo was a real pain in the arse to find. The Connect Tees Valley, I could only find one logo, and it was super low res. Fortunately, it's only like a really small logo on these signs anyway. But yeah, that took ages to find. But yeah, the signs are mine. The station, the platform numbers are mine. Everything else is stock standard for the route, but when the full route comes out, I will be redoing the footbridge here, because Stockton has a very unique footbridge. It's got a really unique design to its footbridge, and it has some quite unique waiting shelters as well. So this station is going to get quite a big overhaul in the full version of the route. In the current version of the route, I'm just adding the new signs. But yeah, new footbridge will be coming, and some of the new platform furniture will be coming as well. And that's pretty much it for Stockton.
This is the northern service to Nunthorpe.
Thank you, Saul. Are you going to say the next announcement?
The next station is...
Thank you.
Thornaby.
Thornaby. Thanks for following, by the way, Beans. Okay, so next up, Thornaby. Same thing with Thornaby. I haven't really changed anything apart from adding in new station signs. I don't know how much work I'm going to do at Thornaby, because I do think that Thornaby is quite good in the current route. There's not really many changes that I'd like to make. Maybe the waiting building. There's like an actual waiting building at Thornaby rather than just a shelter. But the one in this route is a bit inaccurate, so maybe I'll model a new building for it. But apart from that, I don't think there's really going to be too many changes at Thornaby. Okay, another sharp curve coming up. So if you carried on straight ahead, that would take you down to Eaglescliff, Yarm, Northallerton, and there's also the line across to Darlington, none of which is going to be upgraded. I don't have plans to upgrade any of that. Maybe at some point in the future, but again, I really just want to focus on the Durham Coast Line specifically in my current project. Whoops, sorry about bumping the mic. The current scope of the project is just the Durham coastline. This is a long curve. Does it really have to be 25 all the way through that curve? I feel like you could up it to 30 just for a bit, right? Doesn't matter because we're speeding anyway. We've gone over 25 now. Okay, I wonder if these bridges have had any updates to them in the last few years. There's quite a few bridges on this section that are, you know, 4 tracks wide, but obviously there's only 2 tracks here now because the other tracks were taken up many years back. I wonder if any of those bridges have actually been rebuilt with 2 tracks in mind. Like this one here, you can. I mean, the track itself is still there, so I wonder if that still exists or if that's been taken out. I'd have to look at some cab view videos if I can find any. It's quite difficult to mod. The thing is, it's really easy to model the stations because pretty much every station in the northern region has street view imagery. There's this company called Ventrix Surveys that basically went to every single station on the northern network and took street view photos of the platforms. So if you want to model the stations, it's super easy, but if you want to model anything else, it's very difficult. Especially if you want to model like stuff at the side of the track, because it's quite hard to find track view videos and stuff like that. Like driver's eye videos. But here is Thornaby. Once again, not much to say about Thornaby. I have added new signs. And Thornaby's managed by TransPennine Express, so there's your first TransPennine Express logo of the day. But yeah, I've added the new signs and the platform numbers. Apart from that, no changes here. Everything else here is as it appears in the current route. But as I was saying earlier, this building, the waiting area, I would like to remodel this. I'd like to make a more accurate building to go here, because this isn't very. It's not very accurate. No disrespect to DP Simulation, who originally made this route, but there are definitely certain bits that I think, you know, that I'd like to improve and remodel.
This is the northern service to Nunthorpe. The next station is Middlesbrough.
Thank you, Son. The announcements have been quite consistent so far. I think the only missing announcements were when we left Seaham. I don't know why it didn't play the announcements there, but for the rest of the journey, it seems to have worked all right. Once again, there's 25 announcements. 13 of them are for destinations. No, 12 are for destinations. 13 are for. No, wait. There must be 11. There's 11 for destinations. There's 13 for the next station is, and then there's 1 terminate announcement. And if you're making your own scenarios for this route, all you have to do is put those markers on the track, and as soon as the train drives over it, it'll play that announcement. So if you want it to say, this is the northern service to Saltburn, the next station is Middlesbrough, all you need to do is put down 1 marker for the destination and 1 marker for the next station. And of course, they were all recorded and voiced by yours truly. So if you want to hear my beautiful voice in Train Simulator, download my new route when it comes out in about 2 weeks' time. That yard could do with some work as well. At least getting rid of the wagons there and replacing them with like HTAs or something more modern. Okay, reduce speed. That'll do. What was that in aid of? I've got an itchy nose, sorry. I hate scratching my nose on a live stream because it looks like I'm picking it, which I'm not. I'm scratching. Okay, coming up on Middlesbrough, we better drop down to 25. Nothing much has changed at Middlesbrough. In the full version of the route, I will be extending Platform 2, which was done in 2021 to allow longer LNER trains. I think there's one service per day to Middlesbrough, one LNER service per day. Or at least there was at the time that the new platform was the platform was extended. So they made platform 2 longer so that 9-car LNER trains could call there. Thanks for following, Stuart and Sarita. How are you doing? And here is Middlesbrough. Okay, so what have I actually changed at Middlesbrough? Not a great deal. I have added new signs. Again, these are mine. Another Transparent Express managed station. The interesting thing is, for Middlesbrough, I had to make 3 versions of this sign because, for some reason, some of the signs at Middlesbrough are hanging from the canopy, some of them are mounted on walls, and some of them are freestanding. So I had to model 3 different versions of the Middlesbrough sign. I did also make a very small change to one of the walls here. In the original version of the route, the wall ends where this canopy ends, but in real life it extends a bit further, and there's a sign on it. So I did extend that wall a little bit, but apart from that, that's the only changes that I've made at Middlesbrough. I didn't even need to add platform signs. This is one of the only stations on the route that has permanent platform signs, so these aren't mine. These are included in the route. The only signs that I've added are the actual station signs. But again, in the full version of the route, I will be extending platform 2. It extends down to about where this signal is. And again, this was done in 2021 to allow longer LNER trains to stop at the station. So in the full version of the route, there will be an extension of Middlesbrough down of platform 2 at Middlesbrough down to this signal. Anyway, back to it. Next station is James Cook. We're now going on to the Esk Valley line. There are 4 stations on this line at the minute. There's James Cook, Martin, Gypsy Lane, and Nunthorpe. And I have made some improvements to all of those stations, which we'll see as we get down there. But at least one of them I want to completely remodel. I want to remodel Gypsy Lane. Because the thing is,
service to Nunthorpe. The next station is James Cook.
Thank you, Son. The thing is, the current model of Gypsy Lane is a prefab, and it's got a really small shelter on it. You'll see when we get there. I'll explain when we actually get to that station. But yeah, I think that one will probably end up being remodeled. Right, so we're now going on to the Esk Valley line. If we kept on straight ahead, we would end up at Saltburn. Again, this route only goes as far as South Bank, but I would like to eventually extend the line to Saltburn and also to the industrial areas at Bowlby and Skinning Grove. And the Esk Valley line is single track as well, by the way, so that's nice. There are... this is what I was talking about earlier, though. I mentioned that there were a few areas on the route where the gradient gets a bit unrealistic, and it's mostly on this section. There's a few places where the track just... like, the angle of the track just changes really abruptly. So I would like to maybe relay some of the track in this area. I think the worst part is between James Cook and Martin. Yeah, I mean, you can see it on the minimap. Well, you probably can't see it on the minimap because it looks tiny on the actual stream. But from James Cook to Martin, the track just goes like that. Really violent increase in the gradient. So I might relay some of the track to try and fix that a bit. Okay, the ascent begins. I don't know if we can freewheel here because we're on such a steep hill. I think that if we freewheel, we're just going to end up slowing to a halt very quickly. Okay, I see James Cook. Hit the brakes. Would you ever consider doing the full transformation? I don't know the actual term, said Lucas. I don't want to have surgery, if that's what you mean, Lucas. I made a video about this a while ago. I think people get the wrong idea about this idea of fully transitioning, because not everyone actually wants that. Different trans people will have like different goals in mind. Surgery is not necessarily the be-all and end-all. You know, some people want it, some people don't. And for me personally, I've never really felt that it was important for my personal transition. Is Train Simulator any good? It is, son. It is indeed. Now, James Cook. A few changes here. Let me talk you through them. So, obviously, the sign, that's mine. I made that. The way out sign, basically all the signs. All the signs are my own work. The smoke. I don't think we actually looked at the no smoking signs earlier, did we? But those are mine as well. This was another one where I had to just get a screenshot of a Google Maps image and then try my best to copy the text. Interestingly, that typo where it says bylaws with an E, that typo is on the actual sign. That typo is on every no smoking sign at every Northern Rail station in the country. So that's not my typo. That's a replicated typo. I wanted it to be accurate, and that meant including the typo. But the no smoking signs are mine. The CCTV sign, that's mine. The Samaritan sign, that's also mine. The shelter's mine. Basically just a recolor of the Horden shelter, but with a blue roof instead. I did also extend this little what do you call it here at the edge of the platform because it wasn't long enough for a shelter this size. So I did extend that. The plant pots here are mine, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned this back at Seaton Carew, but I did the plant pots. The info point, obviously, that's mine as well. And that's pretty much it. So, oh, and the speakers, obviously. I did the speakers as well. So it's a lot of little changes. Again, I haven't really remodeled this station. It's basically as it was, but I've just tweaked it and added in a few new bits of scenery. Again, the only thing that isn't mine really is these benches and the lampposts. Everything else there, like I say, all the signs, the shelter, the plant pots, that's all mine. You should make a warning sign saying, warning, this sign has sharp edges. True, the lovable Stoder. I didn't want to... The thing is, I didn't want to add rounded edges onto the signs because it would just add to the poly count and make the models a lot bigger unnecessarily. I know that in real life, even metal signs, they usually have a tiny little bit of rounding at the edges, just, you know, to make them a little bit safer. But when you're making a model, sometimes you have to kind of say, I'm not doing that, because it would make the model bigger than it needs to be. So yeah, the signs do have very sharp edges. It's made very well, I was just joking. Thank you, the lovable Stoder. Anyway, next station is Marton. Pretty much the same story at Marton. I've added in a few new bits and pieces, but the sign itself, the station itself, sorry, hasn't really changed. Choo choo, says Callum. Indeed. Should have a notice saying your notice of this notice has been noticed, says Son. Okay, here's Marton. This is what I was talking about. I mean, pause for a second. Look at that. That's just unrealistic. That definitely needs to be fixed. There's no way that's realistic. There's no way the actual real life railway line has a hill that steep on it. I don't buy that. I'm definitely gonna fiddle with that and make that a little bit more accurate. I think the problem might be the station itself maybe is supposed to be on a gradient. But in the current version of the route, the stations are all on perfectly flat ground, which means the hill then has to be steeper to make up for it. But either way, this is Marton, and once again, very few changes here. The benches, obviously, those are mine. The posters here, those are mine. The plant pots, the signs, the info point. Not many changes. Pretty much the same as James Cook, just a few new bits and pieces. I would like to redo this shelter in the full release because I am not a big fan of the textures on it. But for the current version of the route, that's the only changes that I've made, really. Okay, next station is Gypsy Lane, and we're coming very close to the end now.
The next station is Gypsy Lane.
Thank you, Saul. The next station is Gypsy Lane, and then there's also Nunthorpe, and that's the end of the line at the moment. Thanks for the roses, Sebastian Lurch. Thank you very much. Wow, this is a really steep climb. The gradient here is 1 in 40. There's no way this is the real gradient on this route. I will have to check before I remodel it, but there's no way it's this steep. Come on, it can't be. I mean, I can't... The speed limit's 50 here. I'm barely doing half of that, really. Just over half of that. All single track again, but you can tell that this used to be a double track. Like, you can just tell by how wide the embankment is on the left-hand side. You can tell that this used to be a double-tracked route. I'm guessing beaching struck again with this one. I would hazard a guess. God, this is such a steep climb. It really is. This is another unrealistic bit here. This is what makes me think that the gradient isn't realistic, because look at how quickly it goes from 1 in 40 to 0. That's... I don't think that's realistic. The gradient just changes too quickly. I don't buy it. But anyway, here is Gypsy Lane, the second to last station on this route and on our drive for today. And there's been a few changes here. So, obviously, same as all the other stations, new benches, new signs, new plant pots. I did do a little bit of work on these barriers because they weren't quite in the right place, but nothing major there. Sorry about the alarm, by the way. The ticket machine's mine, and this Durham Coast Line poster, which I don't think I've actually shown on the stream yet, but this Durham Coast Line poster, and obviously Horden, the station in the picture, that's also mine. What I was saying about this station earlier, though, is the actual station itself is a prefab. Like, the whole station is one single placeable object, which is not ideal because I wanted to put in a bigger shelter here. This shelter is way smaller than the real thing. I wanted to put in a bigger shelter here, but I couldn't do that because I can't change the size of the station, right? If I put a new shelter in, half of it would be sticking out behind this fence here. So what I think I'm going to have to do is do an entirely new model for Gypsy Lane with that extended section there so that we can fit on a larger shelter. But that's Gypsy Lane, which means the last station, the very last station on our drive today, is Nunthorpe. Let's get moving. Why are we not moving? Okay, this is the last time you're going to hear my voice in the game. Obviously, this is the last time you're going to hear my voice in the game. So,
the next station is Nunthorpe.
Thank you, Zorn. It didn't play the... Oh, it was supposed to also say this train terminates here. It didn't play that one for some reason. Never mind. Are you a developer of this or something, says Callum? I am, yes. I am a modder. This is my mod that I'm planning on releasing in a couple of weeks' time. So the route itself is by a developer called DP Simulation, but he hasn't been active in the train sim community since 2019, and this route hasn't had an update since 2019. But the real-life Durham Coast Line has had quite a lot of changes in that time, which is why I wanted to basically update his route to reflect the changes that have been made to the real route in the interim. That's pretty cool. Thank you, Callum. It's my first project in Train Sim. I was working on a Sheffield Supertram project a while ago, but it didn't really get anywhere. This is going to be my first Train Sim project that I've actually published anywhere. And again, if you want to play it, it's going to be released on Alan Thompson Sim in a couple of weeks' time. I'm trying to get it done by the end of the month, so you will be able to drive this very soon. I'm planning a mod where the train doesn't go anywhere. I call it the signal failure mod. Nice one, Hadders. You should do that. You should make a scenario where you just stand at a signal. What train sim is this? This is Train Simulator Classic. And this... We're really slowly hobbling into the station here. This is Nunthorpe. And I have made a couple of changes at Nunthorpe. Come to a stop, and I will explain. Okay, so, Nunthorpe. First of all, standard, new furniture, obviously, new poster. This information board is quite good. This quadruple poster information board, that's mine. The board itself, as well as, obviously, the 4 posters. That's mine. The bike shelter, same one as at Seaton Carew, that obviously is mine. Help points and the signs and the benches and the ticket machine, that's all mine. The building here is not mine, but it's quite accurate, so I think I'm probably going to keep it anyway. And these plant pots aren't mine. These are different from the plant pots that I made, that I put at my own stations. The station signs, obviously, the name and platform number signs, those are mine. And that's pretty much it. We got the Durham Coast Line poster again with Horden in it. This shelter I might remodel. Again, I'm not a big fan of the textures on it, but everything inside it, the posters and the no smoking sign, those are mine. And the triple information board is mine as well. This is the only station that has a triple and a quadruple information board, and obviously I modelled both of those. And that's pretty much it. The signal, I actually stole the signal gantry from Siam. I put the same signal gantry here because in the current version of the route, the signal is just kind of off to the side, which is way too out of line of sight for the driver, in my opinion. At the real station, it's on a gantry like this, so I just brought down the gantry from Siam and put the signal on top of that. And then obviously the info point here and the way out sign and the CCTV, all these decals, that's all my work as well. And that's Nunthorpe. That is, unfortunately, that is the current end of the line. The line doesn't go any further. Like I say, in a future version, I would love to extend south to Battersby. I think there's one other station between Nunthorpe and Battersby, but I can't remember the name off the top of my head. But I would like to increase the line down to Battersby. Obviously, I'd also like to increase the northern section to Newcastle and the eastern section to Saltburn. But those things are definitely a long way in the future right now. For the current version of the route, the one that you will be able to play in a couple of weeks' time, that's what we've been driving today. So the current version of the route is going to have a new station at Horden. It's going to have new platform furniture at every station between Sunderland and Nunthorpe. And there's the announcements as well, which can be used in scenarios. Those are the only things that are going to be coming in the upcoming release of the route. Then the next version is going to have new footbridges at Stockton and Billingham. It's going to have extended platform 2 at Middlesbrough, and it's going to have a new platform at Hartlepool. Then the version after that is when I'm going to start to add in some of the new industrial areas like Hartlepool Nuclear Power Station, Sunderland Port, Hartlepool Port, Port Clarence, places like that. So I do have a lot of content planned. I've got like a lot of different additions that are going to be coming up in like future versions of the route. But the current version, the version that I'm going to be publishing in a couple of weeks' time, is pretty much just going to be Horden Station and some new furniture at the other stations. And that's it. That's the whole route. Again, if you would like to drive this route for yourself, you can drive the current version at DP Simulation. It's called Northeast England. My version is going to be published in a couple of weeks' time, and it will be available on alanthompsonsim.com when it is released. And that's it. 1k likes. Thank you, Arch on Scooter. Thanks for letting me know. What wheel do you use? The wheel is the Logitech G Heavy Equipment wheel. Oh, my dress has come up a bit there. It doesn't matter because I've got pyjama bottoms on underneath anyway. The steering wheel is the Logitech G Heavy Equipment wheel. And I've also got the side panel to go with it. But that's it. That's basically the route. I'm glad that I showed it to you. I'm glad that you got to see it. I'm looking forward to actually publishing it so that you can actually download it and play it for yourself. That will be happening very soon, but I'll share more about that, you know, when it actually happens. That is all I really have planned for today. I just wanted to do a little bit of a tour of the route, show you the route so far, and then tell you what I had planned for future versions. Is it free? It will be free, Ob. How are you doing, by the way? The route will be free when it's published. The DP simulation version is free. My version will also be free, but there are a few paid DLCs that you will need to be able to get it. As far as I'm aware, you need the East Coast Main Line, York to Newcastle. You need the Weardale and Teesdale network. And there's a couple of other bits and pieces that you need as well. But the route itself is free. Like I say, the DP simulation version is free. My version will also be free. Are you a fan of Daggerwin? I am, Charlie Taylor. Yes, big Daggerwin fan. Oh, I should put some music on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, big Daggerwin fan. I love his survival series, his realistic survival series in Farming Sim. I'm a big fan of those. But yeah, I've been a long time viewer of Daggerwin. Have you ever played OMSI? I have, Bobby. Yes, we played it on stream a couple of times last year, but I couldn't really get into it, to be honest with you. What's the game called? The game is Train Simulator Classic. It's available on Steam for I think $24.99. Yeah, that's it. Did the wheel work fine? The wheel worked for OMSI, yeah. The wheel actually was really good for OMSI. We also had quite a few of the controls from the side panel mapped for OMSI as well. That did work very well for that game. But back to the route. I just want to mention one more time before we finish up. Once again, if you do want to play my version of the Durham Coast Line route, it will be available on alanthompsonsim.com in a couple of weeks' time. If you want to play the current version of the route, that's the version without my improvements, then you can find it on DP Simulation. It's a really good route. I do recommend playing the route as it is, because it is a really good route. But again, if you want to play the current version, head to DP Simulation. It's called Northeast England. If you want to play my version, it will be on Alan Thompson Sim in a couple of weeks' time. And obviously, I have quite a lot of content planned for it as well. This is, you know, basically just the very first work-in-progress version that I'm going to be publishing. There's going to be a lot of improvements coming in future, too. I think that's pretty much it. Don't go, please. I've got to, Ob. That's there's nothing else for me to do. We've reached the end of what I had planned for today. Sorry for yawning. I don't like to yawn on stream. It implies that I'm bored. I'm not bored. I just didn't sleep very well last night. Can we play ETS? Not today, Ob. Not today. I'm sorry. Next Euro Truck stream will be not this Tuesday coming, but the Tuesday after, which is the 21st. Oh, actually, I might do Trucking Tuesday next week, because I've actually got carpet fitters coming on the 21st. I completely forgot about that. We're getting new carpet in the hallway. They're coming to fit that on the 21st, so I might not be able to do my Euro Truck stream on that day. So I might do Euro Truck next week instead to make up for it. So then there might be a Euro Truck stream next week. I don't know. But yeah, that's it. thank you very much for joining. If you have enjoyed, but you haven't already, then please do follow. We're only 2 followers away from 7,500, which will officially put us 3/4 of the way to the big 10k. So please do follow. And thank you everyone who has already followed today. If you want to subscribe on YouTube or follow on Twitch as well, then please do. We hit 7.5. Thank you, Ob, and thank you, Gem, for 7,500 followers. That is a beautiful sight to see. Probably won't last very long. Normally, whenever I get to a milestone, someone thinks, haha, you know what would be really funny? If I unfollowed right now. So it'll probably go back down again in a minute, but thank you for 7.5k. Thank you very, very much. That's actually quite a big deal. That's actually quite a big deal. We are now 3/4 of the way to 10,000. Thank you. What a nice note to end the stream on. Louis says Durham Coast Line sucks, such a boring line to ride on. I'm sorry you feel that way, Louis. Hopefully my version will be a bit more enjoyable. I've put a lot of work into it. I think from what I've heard, it's a very boring route to ride on, but it's not too bad to drive. And also, I just thought it was a good route to work on because it's been a while since it was last updated. So please, if you can put your prejudice for the Durham Coast Line to one side, please do try my version of the Durham Coast Line route when it releases in a couple of weeks' time. Hopefully, you will enjoy driving it. But yeah, we'll leave that there. What makes it boring or not, says Ob? I think when it comes to riding on a route, I think it's just I think it's quite boring riding on a train that's just kind of going in a straight line. There's not very much scenery. It's just kind of, you know, there's not much of a view. I will say that for the Durham Coast Line. I don't know. Driving through Horden isn't exactly a pleasure. Okay, well maybe you won't enjoy this route then, Louis. Other routes are available, just not by me. This is my only route that I've worked on so far. But yeah, that's going to be it. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed, please do follow. If you would like to support me financially, please consider checking out the Patreon. Big shout out, as always, to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika. It's getting harder and harder to remember all of your names off the top of my head. Thank you very much, everyone, for supporting me over there. If you want to get your name on this board, please do consider checking out the link in my bio for my Patreon. It costs £1 a month. You get access to behind-the-scenes content, like early access videos and bloopers. You get a shout-out on stream. And, of course, you'll be supporting me in what I do here on TikTok, YouTube, and Twitch. So thank you once again to Kate, Jess, Danny, Riley, P, Charlie, Dan, Amy, and Marika for supporting me over on Patreon. It is very, very much appreciated. Thanks, guys. That's everything. That is where we are going to leave it today. So just one last time, just to reiterate for the final time today, if you like what you saw today, if you want to drive this Durham Coast Line route, it will be getting published on Alan Thompson Sim in a couple of weeks' time. Someone unfollowed, says Ob. Of course they did. I knew it would happen. I knew it would happen, but it doesn't matter. We did hit 7.5k. You all saw it. You all saw that it said 7,500. It went back down, but we all saw it. We all know that it happened. So thank you, everyone. That is, on that note, we're going to leave it there. Next stream is going to be Minecraft on Monday. Join me for that. And then I'm also going to be doing, obviously, Farming Sim next week. And we're going to be starting Soulstorm next week. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to be starting Oddworld Soulstorm next Sunday. Very, very exciting. But that's it. That's all. Goodbye, for real this time. I'll see you on Monday. Everyone enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye. And bye-bye YouTube and Twitch also. Download my route. It's not available yet, but when it is available, download it.